in which system is malfunctioning. Right now, all of us need to go buy a brain. I don't know where they sell them at, but half of these people brain, there's probably some old decrepit brains that's partially decayed in the grave that can think better. This is horrible. I never would have came back to this shit. I wish they would have never conjured my ass up because I don't need to be here. But since I'm here, I'm going to push this motherfucking shit till y'all get it. Y'all gonna get it sooner or later. I'm going to keep telling the truth. I'm going to keep showing you the stage show they showing you where they trying to control you with so you can break from the measures of control. And then you can exercise your freedom from your couch. You don't have to get out in the street and march. March for what? If I march a motherfucker somewhere, we tearing some shit up when I get there. I have a party with you. We can have a wang dang doodle. We can have a shindig, right? We can go kick our boots up. We can shoe shuffle, right? We can go ballrooming, but marching, I'm not marching nowhere. If I march somewhere, I'm tearing some shit up. I'm gonna be making I'm gonna be the motherfucking law. I'm gonna grab all of them clowns that's masquerading. Nope, I'm not finna march. Cause I know if I come marching into your town with the troops, you either gonna be with us or against us. Cause we ain't leaving no motherfucking hostages and we ain't taking no motherfucking prisoners. You either with us or you against us. So when we come in, you better be waving your white flag with the gorilla on it. And I'm going to be waving mine coming into town with the gorilla on it. And you going to know this is a gorilla takeover. And it ain't nothing they can do about it. But I'm not finna be doing all that marching. Because I'm going to get pissed off. The first march and the shit don't go the way we supposed to go. I'm going to be pissed off and we going to tear this bitch up. So no, I'm not going to be doing none of that marching shit. Not, My cousin trying to call in while I'm doing my live. But look, anytime the people want to understand they gave it all back. They gave it all back in the indigenous rights side. They said we had a right to our shit. The problem come in is don't nobody know how to exercise their sovereign right, but everybody know how to exercise their slave rights. Your civil rights are slave rights. Your national rights are slave rights. Your citizen rights are slave rights. None of those are sovereign rights. But they don't believe that individuals can be sovereign and not be part of a corporation without being a crown-carrying, scepter-toting king. That's not what a sovereign is. We were sovereign for they king. Before 1492, the issues that we have today was not our biggest problems. Our biggest problems was who was going to have the biggest cookout this year. Them was the kind of problems we was dealing with. We was dealing with the kind of problems like who had the prettiest horse, who had the prettiest bison. Them was the problems that we dealt with. These American modern problems were not our problems. They brought this shit over here. We didn't have these problems. Everybody over here was filthy rich. There was no such thing as poverty in the Americas before 1492. That's a side effect of being pillaged in warfare. And that's why we was pillaged in warfare, because we was filthy. Everybody wanted to come over here and be part of the House of Tahuti because he knew how to make sure everybody got money. Everybody had a means to support themselves based on their own merit, skill set, and what they had to offer to the community, and all of the members of the community supported each other. Then they came over here with this individualism, this me, myself, and I mentality. Disregard the village that raised the child, but now the whole village retarded. The child got to raise the village. That's what's happening right now. Look at these youngsters. They taking this information Rod Hayes dropping. They taking this information Rashad Jamal dropping. They taking this information Remedy H dropping. They taking this information that Kalai a moon dropping. They taking this information from all of it, from Bomar 7. They taking this information from B-Dale. They taking this information from all of us that's out here that been doing this work, and they taking it to the next level. This is what the system was most scared of. This is why they had COINTELPRO, right? As long as they had Sarnetter doing debates, they figured they had us. Because as long as we was debating which one of these crackers was right, they knew that they had us. You got to remember, oh, I got a correction to make on my video. I said that Gerald Massey wrote Destruction of Black Civilization. That was incorrect. Destruction of Black Civilization was written by Chancellor Williams, and Gerald Massey wrote Ancient Egypt, Light of the World. So that gives a whole new perspective of how that story plays out with Sonia Massey. Right? Now remember, Gerald Massey and Albert Churchward was the founding fathers of Egyptology, and neither one of them are accepted in academia anymore. Right? So as long as we was arguing the validity of their scholars, we was arguing their points from both sides. But as soon as we start saying, that ain't what my ancestors told me, that ain't what that totem pole say, that ain't what that tree arrangement is telling me, that's not the way these people moving on the land, it's not telling me the same story you people telling me, I can't use your references. They disqualify themselves because they collapse under the whole weight of the ancestral messages left on the Wind Talking channel that I accidentally stumbled upon and fell into by birthright. And it don't tell me the same story. But now what I had to do is read the Wind Talking channel. Then I got to go find somebody that y'all accept that said the same thing in order for y'all to be able to even see that I'm not making it up. Because sometimes the doctrine and the actuality is so drastically different that the actuality becomes belligerent to the doctrine itself. So they create that clash. That's the two rams banging their heads on the hilltop. But no matter what happened, the assumed position is always going to fall to the correct position. You can assume whatever position you want, but if you're not the rightful person with the right blood to hold that position, you can't stay there. You can stay there till the rightful person come along, but when the rightful person come along, you got to get out that man house, you got to get out that lady chair, and you got to let them people live their life in their own stuff. You can't keep it. That's right in the Uniform Commercial Code. In the Uniform Commercial Code, it says when the rightful holder returns for his property, that the thief, it's from the ancient code of thieves, I'm just still using the word thief, the thief then must surrender the property in which he have lived maybe lifetimes of his generations to his rightful owner. So when the rightful heir come along, they don't have no choice. They can either get down or lay down, but they're going to have to give it all up. And it don't matter to me whether they get down or lay down or get laid down. It don't matter to me at all. They're going to give it all up. But see, the problem comes in is, while I'm following this tribal practice, many of us think that the only way out is the way that the enemy told us was the way out. He didn't tell us how to get out. He told us how to get in the basement from the first floor with no exit down there. That's what he told us, how to trap yourself so he don't have to do it. He gave you the map and the blueprint to trap yourself so that he can avoid what's called karmic retribution. As long as he got you amening yourself, wrapping yourself in this don't let my God light shine in the world conjure spell, you can't get free. And as long as you can't get free, you're going to be looking at the people that's coming to try to show you the direction of freedom like they the enemy. And all the time, that's your best ally. You better jump on this bandwagon, because once this mug leave, it's going to be too late to get on. And we keep accepting, look, as long as we look at ourselves as victims, we're going to keep manufacturing through collective will our own victimization. This is why they always want us to, woe is me, my ancestors was in slavery. I wouldn't give a fuck if all my ancestors was in slavery and I'm the first one that ain't. Ain't none of that shit finna stop me from being my best version of me. I don't care what they say. That ain't their choice. That's my choice to be my best self. And the generational curses that break along the way, I welcome that as well. I welcome that as well. I don't mind breaking the generational curses for my family. I love my family. Even the ones that think I'm totally bat loony shit crazy. But when they realize that I already knew what I was talking about from beginning to end, and they be like, man, you should have made me get it. No, I can't make you get nothing. I'm not here to make nobody do nothing, but make these imposters give up what's mine. Give my sisters back their shit so I can get my shit. That's all I'm here for. I'm the only people I'm trying to make do anything. I don't even want to make my kids do nothing. I want to teach them how to do it the right way so that they'll know how to do it right. I don't want to make them do nothing. I want to teach them how to do it. I want to make them. I don't want to use brute force. I want to use the natural curiosity of the child to entice their mind to want to learn that thing in which daddy know. Daddy gonna teach you everything you need to know. I don't care what it is. And that go for my blood child, stepchild, nephew, niece, cousin, neighbor across the street. Any child come to me that want the right answer, I'm going to give them the right answer, and I'm going to try to systematically help them to grasp the answer that I'm giving them so that it can grow into something in their mind that help them better in their latter days. I'm not really worried about stopping the child right now from having fun as a child, but I can be planting seeds all along the way, and I can be watering and fertilizing them seeds. As the child grows, so does the garden of his mind become an unrestricted forest of freedom. It's not hard. It's not hard. But the hard part is the average person has been systematically taught to be ignorant. And that is an abomination before God herself and humanity, to teach somebody how to deliberately be ignorant. That's as nauseating as it can get. And my dad used to say, that's the dumbest shit in the world. I used to didn't believe that nobody would want somebody to be dumber than them, until I discovered that all of the people with high intelligence, if Mensa don't come get you, you gonna catch hell. If Mensa don't come get the genius, you gonna catch hell in trying to be regular. You're gonna catch hell. You're gonna be miserable. You're gonna go through hard times, struggles, but when it's all over, your intelligence should be able to navigate you to higher forms of learning. But the path is brutal, harsh, unforgiving, uncaring. The path, don't care what your emotional state is still going to be the path. You can be as disgruntled as you want to while you walking it. You can cry all the way. You can kick, scream. You can beat on the ground. None of that don't matter. That path gonna be that path that make you be the strongest version of yourself in the department of strength that your birthright require you to be strong. You can't alter it. You can't undermine it. You can't shift it. The first thing that you have to realize in reclaiming yourself is, if they lied to me about God, what else would they not lie to me about? Now that put everything that they ever told you under the microscope in your psyche. A lot of people think you have to pick everything apart individually. No, you don't. When you get the big concept understood, the brain automatically begins to sift the information. And in your mind, you got like this algorithm counter of your own thoughts. And you have a spiritual component that erases or it redirects the shit that don't serve your best interest away from you, and it channel all of those that serve your interest to you, which when you realize that the biggest lie they ever told you is God was a man. The second biggest lie they ever told you is that Jesus was a man. The third biggest lie that they told you was that this is not the story of Isis and Heru. In the book of the Bible, Emmanuel is the son. That's Heru. In the book of the Bible, Jesus is Isis. Now, this is where the biggest trick come in, because this goes to Judaism, Christianity in two different directions. When you realize the words in red is two different people talking based on mindset of individuality. I learned this in forensic profiling, and my father confirmed it for me when I showed him. I read Matthew 10, and I was pointing out to him Matthew 10:34. I come not to bring peace but a sword. When I read that part to him, he said, that ain't the words in red, though. I said, yes, it is. He said, no, it ain't. He said, bag up, read some more from before that. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Pops. I'm going to read the whole chapter. And I'm sitting there reading chapter 10 to Pops. When I get to the end of it, he say, that's two motherfuckers right there. They ain't the same person. That's two motherfuckers. And I started laughing because I'd already figured it out from forensic profiling that it's two different people with two different mindsets that's talking in the red print. It's the mama and the son. And this is why there's so many Marys around ISIS, is because that's the Mary, which the Europeans renamed as the rebellious woman. But in Kemet, it don't mean that. It don't mean that. Ta Mary mean the land of Mary, meaning the land of Isis. Mary was the Sibyls. The Sibyls were the Marys. Right? They was all the oracle priestesses. The 12 daughters of Isis were the Marys. And this is why I had so many godmamas with name Mary or a derivative of Mary. Right? Because the Marys is and they always the dark mothers that lead the 12 tribes. The darkest one, and even if they pale skinned, she gonna have a healthy tan. She gonna have a healthy tan. They got big mamas in the pale community too. I know quite a few of them, and they spiritually sharp as any other big mama, and mentally as sharp. They be up in age. Yo, Dolores Cannons. Yo, what's that lady name? Linda Moulton Howe. They know what they talking about. And they come from these mitochondrial bloodlines that does not have a... Look, you got every skin color and every hair texture. If you scroll down far enough on my Instagram page, you will see my 12 Daughters of Isis post, would help you understand it better. Because this is all taken from the ancient sacerdotal seat and the priestesses that protected that seat, right? I got a whole post on, if you go on my Facebook, if you type in Medusa and you and then you pick up the three little dots up there, and it say posted by, and then you just type my name, Rod Hayes, and it's gonna pull up the Medusa post where I'm showing you exactly where Medusa got the name from. Medusa is a title of a Sa priestess. Medu mean 10, which is the highest of the ranks. It's just like calling her a dime piece now. It's a 10. In Egypt, they counted from 100 to 1. They didn't count from 1 to 100. But over here, we count from 1 to 100. But when you go to the hypnotist's office, when you go to get put under anesthesia, they tell you to count backwards from 100. That's all Egyptian, which is all Atlantean, which is all southwestern United States, which is the Temple of Isis' original location. So we have to look at these segments. Everybody over here, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they did exactly what they supposed to do. That's why they flourish like they flourish, because they under their own vine and fig tree. They go out and they propagate, but they don't put you in handcuffs and drag you down to the Kingdom Hall and make you come to service. They don't do that. But the corporation, if you don't want to participate in their shenanigans, they send these uniform representatives to enforce their policy, put you in handcuffs, drag you down to their nobility, they nobles called honorables and esquires. You call them judges and lawyers, and then they make you take part in they practice. That don't have nothing to do with us. They closing courts down right now. They closing banks down right now as we speak. And when I get done with this, all you got to do is wait 10 minutes, because I'm going to have a post up showing you that they closing down courts and they closing down banks as we speak. This is a collapse, a total collapse of the corporate system. The financiers, the privateers, the bankers, all of these are pirates looting our land, looting our people, under the false pretenses of running a government. They've never ran government since they've been here. The only reason the infrastructure is as good as it is because they didn't get full control until 1933. Before that, we were still building roads. They take the credit for it now. Oh, the United States government came in and we finished the road. Bullshit, they didn't finish nothing. We built the roads for interstate commerce, but we wasn't building it for state commerce. We was building it for tribal commerce among the outlaw tribes that had got pushed on the other side of Appalachians. Then they pushed us to the Rockies with this goddamn Louisiana Purchase bullshit, and we keep falling for it. And all I'm trying to tell y'all is it's an exit. Oral tradition. I'm following it. And if you pay attention, you're going to see me walk us right out of this shit. Not because I'm smarter than nobody, because I still recognize the lapses in memory and recall processing of data. I still see the glitches in my matrix, in my psyche, from the side effects of being under that spell of hypnotic trance. I see it. But because I know how to adjust, I can conceal where, like for instance, names. I'm supposed to remember a name the first time I hear it. No. But that was part of the conjure, because in order to make us confused by the names, when they use a name flips, is they use the spell to make you not remember names. So now you don't know that Jerusalem, New Jersey, that there's also a Jerusalem, Oklahoma, right? You won't make that connection when they tamper with how you process memory and recalls of names. So what do I do to offset that? I research names and research names and research names and research names. So even if I don't remember the person's name, I can't forget their face. I'll just be like, don't I know you? Yeah, I talked to you 4 hours the other day. What's your name? Oh, yeah, I remember now. But people get offended, but they don't know that there's been a whole spell put on us to make it difficult for us to remember names, dates of events, and times of events. We'll look back in the memory and we'll be like, oh, JFK got shot like 9 o'clock in the morning. No, it wasn't. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it wasn't. It was 9:30 at night. We can't remember what time it was, but we can realize that we can go back now and pull that information up. If you have a chance to improve how you perceive, go over an event, write down the time that you think it happened because you remember it clearly. Then go back and check and see if you're right. Most of you are going to be wrong, but if you keep doing it, you're going to start getting right because you got to calibrate. Every mental faculty has to be calibrated. This was what the whole purpose of education was, is to teach the child how to calibrate so that they can use the proper mental faculty in order to help them translate and siphon this information so that they're not trapped mentally. It's not a mind block. This is why I like that L. Ron Hubbard and Dianetics. Dianetics is the handbook for breaking that shit out your brain. The only thing is some of the stuff that L. Ron Hubbard say is not geared toward people from specific backgrounds. But then you got stuff that's geared for everybody. Like his auditor process, yeah, but the information of how the brain works is the most critical thing he wrote in there. When you understand how the brain connects information, now you can start willfully, like going through a library card index, pulling out key pieces of information. It's all there. But you need what's called a linchpin, something to pin it in order for you to find it. So now you take information from varying locations based off a word or a date or a number or a sound. All of these become tools for you to see further into a situation. And the more definitions you learn, like words, etymology, origin of the word, how did the word become into popular usage, all of this stuff enhances how you process. Because the more you experience it, the more that your brain begin to mull this information over on its own while you sleep. What they call that in computer terms, that's a sleeping drive. When the sleeping drive is asleep, then you can run all of your cleansing programs. If you ever notice, most of your downloads and your programs in your computer, your updates, they all come in the middle of the night. Why? Because both computers, the phone and the brain, are down for the night. The only ones that's up, witching hour. They update your phone at witching hour because normally you ain't up at witching hour. But if you up at witching hour, that means you doing something they don't want you to be doing. So you know that your phone going to be offline in the middle of the night for anywhere from 5 minutes to 2 hours, but you don't care because you sleep. You resting. You know about in the morning, all you got to do, if at worst, is restart your phone. That's all by design. Everything they do is designed to oppress us mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. The harshest thing about the emotional oppression is this: out of context emotions. Out of context, nobody never asked you when you got mad, is that emotion out of context? Because that might change the whole dynamic. What they do? They either tell you right or you wrong, right? They never tell you to assess your context of emotion. This is what kept me from hurting a whole lot of people. Is the emotion in its proper context? Meaning, am I mad where somewhere I should be inquisitive? Am I hurt somewhere I should be pissed off at? If the emotion is in its right context, Then you got to say, okay, if the emotion in this right context, what's the correct course of action based on how I feel, be in the right context for the situation? Sometimes you got to push the snot box back, but most of the time you won't. Most of the time you won't never have to go upside nobody's head by just checking the context of the emotion. This is emotional intelligence 101 used to its highest application. The first understanding of the emotion is, does what you feel angry about supposed to make you angry? If it's supposed to make you angry, don't let nobody talk you down, because the anger is telling you what to do. Listen to the anger, but don't act on it until you understand what the anger is telling you, because the anger going to tell you something that the calmness can't tell you. Course of action required for this emotion in its proper context. You should be doing this. Right? Now, you also have to do what's called consequence analysis. All right? So you always keep yourself where you can control what type of consequence you're willing to accept